Meek Millie, man, he's done an amazing transformation when it comes to his career. Started out doing a lot of street music, being the typical rapper's rapper, gets locked up, comes out and just starts speaking about racism, the system being against minorities, all kinds of stuff where, because he's been through it. He had to deal with probation for over 10 years and how like the system can trick you into taking probation and you're stuck with them for 10 years. And if you do anything wrong, it could backfire immediately and you got to go back to prison. So Meek Mill's done a lot of advocating for all that stuff, especially for minorities. And he's done like a full 180 and it's been beautiful to see. He's still delivering great music. Obviously, I think Wins and Losses is his best album in my opinion. But regardless, Meek Mill said something on stage where he claimed that labels pay rappers more to talk about ignorant stuff. So let's talk about what Meek Mill said, and then I'm kind of give my thoughts on it. Meek Mill believes that hip-hop culture has been crippled by labels who value reductive subject matter over meaningful lyrics. On Sunday, July 30th, the Dream Chasers mogul was invited by the NAACP to participate in a discussion panel alongside Robert Kraft, Henry Louis Gates, and NAACP President Derek Johnson for the organization's national convention. Hate Has No Home Here, a moderated conversation on racism, anti-Semitism, and building bridges to fight all hate, was moderated by Joy Taylor and sought to explore hate crimes in context of racism and other forms of discrimination. During the discussion, the Philly native shared his thoughts on violence and crime as a recurring theme in hip-hop music and how it is allegedly encouraged by the powers that be. So let's talk about what he said. Before I wasn't on stages like this, he referred to now being in better position to inspire change. I was on rap stages rapping about violence and guns. We get paid to rap about that stuff. They actually pay us more when we rap about ignorant stuff. So I make sure I even the line and come and talk on stages like this. He's saying that, labels encourage them to rap about more ignorant stuff. Now I can see here's the double-edged sword here. Labels don't openly say, hey man, if you talk about violence, we're going to pay you a lot more. No, they don't do that, but they do behind the scenes promote those songs a lot more. They'll push, because here's the thing, right? And I truly believe this in America. This is what I believe. Any song can be a hit in America if enough money is put behind the song. I truly believe that. If you put enough money behind any song in America, I'm talking about any artist, any song right now, you put $100 million, just say $50 million, whatever the amount is, have it being played on every radio station, every playlist, everything, everywhere you go, it's there. I believe it can become a hit because some songs are not that good. They just get played so many damn times, it gets stuck in your head to the point where you end up liking it because that's just the programming that a lot of these labels do. So I do feel like labels do push a lot more of the ignorant stuff. Obviously, they don't want people to, listen to music and, enjoy themselves or get smarter, or, that type of stuff. Kanye was talking about frequencies and music beats and how they choose 808s and how it's gotten more aggressive because of the 808s and how it messes with people's frequencies and they get crazier. So I truly believe that as well. I think labels definitely push more money behind the songs that are more violent, or just more provocative, more, ass shaking and shooting, killing, all this stuff that's not really deep, I guess. It's just surface level bullshit. I do feel like they do push that. But here's the but here that Meek Mill, I don't think recognizes that if we don't support that, if we don't listen to that, even though the labels push it, if we just decide, hey, I'm not listening to this shit no more. Like me personally, I don't listen to no more anybody dissing about dead ops. I don't like, rappers talking about dead people, and I'm not never bumping that shit again. If I ever hear a diss song about dead ops of this person, this artist, I don't care. I'm not listening to it. I'm not mentioning it on the podcast. Nothing. I could care less about that stuff because that stuff is just way too damn far. If you're dissing, going to the rap battle back and forth, that's cool. It's a competitive art form, as we all know, so that's not too big of a deal. But when it gets to like dissing dead people, that's too much. So people do like aggression, violence. It's just more entertaining for people. People gravitate more towards negativity. It's unfortunate, but it does play a role on the people as well. It's not just on the rap label. Labels do, though, do that sneaky shit where they promote more of the violence, so then it makes us want it more subconsciously without even realizing it. And it is more entertaining. People just like that shit more. So I know that labels, there's a lot. I was gonna do a documentary, or I will do a documentary in the future about this. It's something that I really want to explore, and that's death clauses and label contracts. Because when an artist dies, they usually skyrocket in sales. Especially if the artist fell off a long time ago. Let's just say, they haven't delivered a hit. Let's just say they're huge, right? Like Madonna, for example. She's not delivering hits in 2023, but she's got a classic catalog of music. So when she dies, it's more beneficial for the label because the music skyrockets, people reminisce on her, all this type of stuff. That's just one example. Michael Jackson was a great example. At the time he was alive, wasn't delivering any hits, wasn't delivering any albums. Dies, all of a sudden, everything skyrockets. That just benefits the label. They do have death clauses in the contracts that if you die on this and this, we have life insurance policies if you die earlier than expected, this and that. So they get more money off that. So I do believe a lot of labels have bad intentions and they're encouraged to do a lot of negative things. But like I said, it's a double-edged sword. One is the people demanding it, they liking it, loving the dissing, the violence. People more gravitate towards that negativity, unfortunately, because let's be honest here. If you're out in a club, do you want to hear Nas telling you a great story, or do you want to hear, turn up music, ass shaking music? Pop that pussy, shoot, blah blah blah, man. I fuck, blah blah blah. So that's what I'm saying. I think people like it too as well. As much as people don't want to. As much as people say, hey, stop the violence, let's not do all this gangster rap stuff. People still listen to it at the end of the day, man. If you really felt that way, you guys would have, to be honest with you, guys would have boycotted the Travis Scott album. That's no shots at, Travis Scott directly, but let's be honest, the Astroworld thing was crazy. Lots of footage of him treating his fans bad. Music sounds a little wild too sometimes. Lots of artists that could have been banned, even my favorite, 50 Cent. Hey, gun shooting, talking, killing. Ban him, man. So, but yeah, people like that shit, whether they acknowledge it a lot. I don't mind, like, here's the thing. I don't mind when people listen to it, no problem. Okay, you're bumping it, but don't let it influence you. Like me as a kid when I was listening to 50 growing up, no. Did I ever want to tote a gun? No. Did I ever want to sell drugs? No. Did I ever think about shooting anybody or doing anything street? No. Because I was raised better. I know it's a form of entertainment. It's not really 100% real, even though some of the events, obviously 50's done a lot of gangster shit in his history, but you know what I mean? So that, as long as, don't let it influence you. Don't let it change who you are. Keep your self intact, because once it influences you to do bad shit, that's when it gets bad. Like Juice WRLD, for example. Listen to Future, got influenced to try lean and do it, and then ultimately he's had a huge drug problem, ended up dying. So that's what I mean. Just don't let it influence you. I think it's okay if you listen to it. I have no issue with it. I'm going to let my kids listen to it. I personally don't really care. I think as long as it's not influencing them in a crazy way, that's all good on my end. Continuing on, he said that double ACP opened doors for people like me to be able to power forward. The things that fund us don't power me forward. He said, he added, I just make sure, because I know better. I'm at an age point. I'm 36. They power us really from where we are, 21 through 25, where we really don't know. I'm one of the lucky ones that made it through and was able to get my knowledge and sense. Yeah, so 36 years old, by the time, if you're not, by 30, if you don't have your shit together and you're still fucking around, getting locked up and just doing dumb shit, then you're never meant to actually mature up, because by that age, it's like, come on, bro. Now you're just trolling at this point. So yeah, man, dope for Meek Mill. Big round of applause for Meek Mill. He is really, really transformed himself. I love it. I love the transformation. Hope it shows more in the music as well. Like I said, I'm good on the shooting, killing, and stuff. It's fun for a track or two, but after that, it's like, let me hear more on this project of what you got. That's why I like Wins and Losses, dealing with drug addiction, death that he dealt with, all kinds of stuff. Fame, Nicki Minaj leaving, so all kinds of stuff like that he mixed all into that project, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, I'll be on the lookout for the new Meek Mill album for sure.